The first thing I noticed wasn't her body. It was the paperwork. She stood there in the sand like she had walked straight out of a boardroom and refused to change. White blouse, black pencil skirt, bare feet digging into the beach. The wind off the water pulled at her hair. Oversized sunglasses covered half her face. In one hand she held a phone. In the other, a thin folder so tight her knuckles had gone pale. She lifted the folder, looked down at it, then looked back at the ocean like she was wondering if the waves could swallow the problem inside. I was going to walk right past her. Just another stranger on the beach in the Hamptons. Just another rich person with rich problems that had nothing to do with me. Then the folder slipped. A few pages slid out, and the wind tried to steal them. My body moved before my brain did. I stepped in and caught the papers before salt air and wet sand could ruin them. I pressed the stack back together. A line on the top page caught my eye. Line 4, profit margin 38%. 2 lines below, the cash flow numbers told a different story. Money going out that did not match money coming in. That kind of margin with that kind of outflow was not just wrong, it was impossible. I did not even have to look for it. The mistake was sitting there blinking at me like a warning light on a dashboard. Line 4, I said, holding the top page tight so the wind would not rip it away. Your profit number does not match your cash flow. Someone is hiding a $2 million hole in your expenses. Her head snapped toward me. The sunglasses slid down an inch. What did you just say? She asked. I kept my voice even. Either your timing is wrong or someone is doing it on purpose. But the numbers do not lie. She stared at me for a beat. Then her gaze narrowed the way serious people look at a new problem that just walked into their life. Who are you? She asked. Colby Sanchez, I said. Most people call me Colby. And why can you read that in 2 seconds? Because I spend my life cleaning up disasters that start exactly like this, I said. I pointed at the bottom of the page. And whoever prepared this used the wrong plan for your equipment costs. They are using it to hide the cash drain. That is why the profit looks good while the company bleeds. The folder stopped shaking in her hand. Behind the dark lenses, I could feel her eyes locked on me like a scope. Do you have a card? She asked. I'm on vacation, I said. Then your vacation just ended. She took the papers back and slid them into the folder again. Her phone buzzed in her other hand. Her thumb hovered over the screen like one tap might blow everything up. She did not look at the phone. She looked at me. Do you know who I am? She asked. Juliana Anderson, I said. Anderson Media. A small change touched her mouth. Not a smile. More like surprise that did not quite soften. My CFO resigned this morning, she said. A board member named Tristan White is calling for an emergency audit. He says I mishandled the money from a big deal. If he proves I messed up, I lose my seat. If I lose my seat, I lose the company. There were people behind us on the beach, kids yelling, waves crashing, but the way she said it made the world feel empty. Just her, the folder, and me. You brought financial statements to the ocean, I said. I needed air, she answered. Her voice was flat but full, and I needed to meet someone I could trust. There was weight in those words. How are you hiring? I asked. She lifted her phone. My chief of staff sent a request through a private crisis network. Discreet consultants, background checked, no open job posts. I picked a short list and asked for someone who was already in the Hamptons today. You were the only one who answered in under 2 minutes. I nodded. It made sense. No magic. No fate. Just fast fingers and a bad habit of checking my phone even on the beach. And you tested me, I said. You saw the hole, she replied. That was the test. The wind shifted. She pressed the folder against her body like armor. If you come with me, she said, you get 1 day rate. Maybe 2. You work out of my suite. You get my full cooperation. Then you walk away clean. And system access? I asked. Her jaw tensed. That is the part one do not give to strangers. I held her gaze. Then do not? Not yet? Give me read-only access. Let me prove the hole is real and show you where it is. Then you decide. Her phone buzzed again. The sound sat between us like a dare. Fine, she said. Read only today. If you are right, you get more. She turned and started walking toward the private path off the sand. She got 3 steps before she stopped and looked back at me over her shoulder. And Colby, she said, yes, my eyes are up here. The line hit sharp clean, like a whip crack. A little challenge, a little warning. I froze. Not because I had been staring. I had been looking at the folder, the numbers, the problem. I froze because in that second, I saw all of her at once. Power. Pressure. A woman who refused to be treated as anything less. Yes, ma'am, I said. She watched me for one long breath, like she was trying to decide if that answer was a show or if it was discipline. Then she turned and kept walking. Her suite smelled like lavender, cold air, and money that tried to hide itself. A glass table by the window was buried under printed reports, contracts, bank papers, and emails. Juliana kicked off her heels and actually stood taller without them. She did not look smaller. She looked more grounded. Tristan is pushing for a board vote in 48 hours, she said. He says the deal cash is missing. I did not touch a laptop yet. I started with what I trusted first. Paper. I pointed at one stack. This is the money for the deal. Yes. And this, I said, tapping another stack, is the cash flow you brought to the beach. Yes. I slid 2 pages side by side and drew a line with a pen. Here, I said, you have a payment marked as a normal expense, but the vendor ID shows it belongs to a special company tied to the deal. Someone pushed it into the wrong place to hide the loss. Juliana leaned in. The scent of her perfume was clean and sharp. That is detailed, she said. It is basic, I answered. The lie is basic too. That is why it is dangerous. She straightened. Her eyes were hard now, focused. So you can fix it? She asked. I can prove who moved it, I said. Fixing comes after proof. Do it, she said. First, I said, looking at her hand. The small tremor was still there. Eat something. She blinked. Excuse me. You are running on pure stress, I said. Your hand is shaking because your blood sugar is low. If you want clean decisions, you need fuel. She stared at me like nobody had talked to her like that in years. Are you ordering me around? She asked. I am protecting the asset, I said calmly. The asset is the CEO. Order food, something with protein. A tired smile flickered at the corner of her mouth. Pizza? She asked. If you can handle grease, I said. I can handle war, she replied, already reaching for her phone. Pizza and coffee. Black, I said. And hot. She looked at me over the edge of the phone. Noted, she said. That was the first small crack in her armor. Not weakness, trust. By midnight, the glass table looked like a war map. My laptop sat open beside piles of printed pages. Juliana moved through the paper like a storm. I moved through the numbers like I always did, slow, exact, patient. She had given me read-only access, just like she promised. No magic keys, no secret back doors, just a careful walk through the truth that was already there. At 12:17 a.m., I found it. Juliana, I said. She came over, sleeves rolled, hair a little loose, makeup faded. She looked less like a legend and more like a person. It made her more dangerous, not less. See this line? I pointed at the screen. Vendor code AM771. That is our tech partner, she said. No, I said quietly. That is the name they show you. The money does not stop there. I tapped the screen again. The account the money lands in belongs to a shell company, I said. That shell is tied to a firm that links back to Tristan's private holdings. It is not stealing in the open. It is a slow leak through a side door. Her mouth went tight. Can you prove it? She asked. Not with read-only access, I answered. I can show patterns. I can show a drain. But if you want a clean case, something your lawyers and the board can use, I need permission to export logs, see original entries, lock in proof the right way. She looked at the window instead of me. Outside, the ocean was black glass. Then she walked to her own laptop, opened a secure app, and typed a code without even looking at the keys. She pulled a printed form from a folder, signed it, and slid it over. "I am giving you higher access," she said. "Time limited. Logged. Two-factor. My legal team is copied. Do not make me regret this." I read it. It was proper, clean, controlled. "I am not here to embarrass you," I said. Her eyes lifted to mine. "That is not what I am afraid of," she said. "What are you afraid of?" I asked. "Being alone in the room when he comes for me," she said. "People like Tristan do not play fair." I did not smile. I did not say something soft to calm her down. "You will not be alone," I said. 2 days later, we were back in Manhattan. The Anderson Media Tower rose over the city like a blade. Juliana walked through the lobby like she owned the building and the ground under it. I walked half a step behind like I owned every risk in the room. "My badge," said Special Consultant. "Most people saw it as a warning. Tristan saw it as a threat. He found me at my temporary desk and dropped a thick policy binder in front of me. "Mr. Sanchez," he said. His smile did not reach his eyes. "We have strict rules about outside contractors touching company data." "Section 4, I said without looking down. His smile twitched. "You have read it." "I have read all of it," I said, "especially the part about board members telling the truth about their own conflicts." His gaze sharpened. "Careful." I leaned back, calm, bored even. "You are the one who should be careful," I said. He leaned closer like he was waiting for me to flinch. "Juliana is emotional," he said. "When she crashes, you do not want to be sitting next to her." My jaw tightened once. That was all he got. "I do not sit," I said. "I inspect." He held my eyes one more second, then walked away. His shoulders said he was sure of himself. His eyes said he was already planning his next move. Days blurred into weeks. Calls, files, late nights, pressure. I stayed between Juliana and as much of it as I could, not by talking for her, by making sure the facts were ready before the lies could spread. One rainy Tuesday, she was stuck in a 3-hour video call with the board. Through the glass wall of her office, I saw her press her fingers into her left temple. Her coffee sat cold. Her shoulders were tight. I did not ask for permission. I walked to the break room, made fresh coffee, grabbed a bottle of water, and took 2 painkillers from the small kit I kept in my bag. When the call hit a pause, I stepped into her office, set the water and pills by her hand, swapped her cold mug for the hot one, and turned to leave. No words, no eye contact. Just service. Her shoulders dropped a little. She took the pills. She sipped the coffee. When I reached the door, she gave one small nod toward the glass. "Not thank you. I see you." 2 weeks later, she appeared at my desk in a deep blue evening dress, hair polished, expression sharp. "I need you tonight," she said. "The gala," I said. "Donors and cameras." "Tristan will be there," she said. "He will try to corner me about the numbers." "If you are there, he will not make a scene." "He will not make a scene because he is worried about what I can prove," I said. Her eyes held mine. "He is worried about you," she said. I picked up my jacket. "Then let us give him a reason." The museum gala was glass and marble, soft music and hidden knives. Men in suits. Women in gowns. Smiles that did not reach eyes. I stayed close enough to reach Juliana in 3 steps, far enough that no one would mistake me for a date. She shivered once in the controlled cold of the air vents. "Here," I said. I took off my suit jacket and settled it over her shoulders. "Colby, no," she said, but her teeth were almost chattering. I adjusted the collar so it would not slip. My hands did not linger. The contact did. She pulled the jacket closer around her. "It smells like you," she said, voice softer than the room deserved. "Sandalwood and printer toner." "Safety," I said. A reporter rushed toward us. Mike pointed like a weapon. "Miss Anderson, comment on the rumor of a data breach," he said. I stepped between them. Miss Anderson has no comment, I said, in a calm, even voice. Also, you are blocking a fire exit. Move! He blinked, thrown by the tone more than the words. Then he moved. Juliana let out one long, measured breath. Thank you, she said. I built a wall, I said. Walls do not ask for please and thank you. We slipped into a staff hallway to avoid the crowd. The light was harsh, the floors were plain. It was the kind of place only workers in security ever saw. That was where Tristan found us. He stepped out of a side door like he had been waiting. Miss Anderson, he said. A private word. Not here, Juliana said. He ignored her and looked at me. Is this man still pretending he works for you? He asked. I moved half a step forward. My shoulder lined up between him and her. Pick a lane, Mr. White, I said. Either I am nothing, or I am a problem. You do not get both. His eyes narrowed. You are interfering in board business. You are standing in a restricted staff corridor, I said. There is a camera in that corner. I nodded up. His eyes flicked to it. He had not noticed. 2 cameras, actually, I added. Juliana stepped closer to me on purpose. A choice, not a flinch. Tristan leaned in toward her anyway. Resign tonight, he said quietly. Save yourself the show tomorrow. I did not touch him. I did not raise my voice. One more sentence that can sound like pressure, I said, and I ask for that footage. Your lawyers will not be able to erase what it shows. You are bluffing, he hissed. I pulled out my phone, tapped twice, and held it at chest level. Time, place, subject, I said. All I need to start the request. Juliana's breath came out sharp. Then her voice went cold. Move, she said. Tristan's mouth curled. Enjoy your pet, he said. I do not run, I said. I leave when the work is done. He walked away. Juliana watched his back with a look that could cut glass. Then she looked up at me. You saw the cameras, she said. I saw 4, I answered. Her shoulders loosened by a fraction. Thank you for not making a scene, she said. I made a barrier, I said. That is different. Later that week, after midnight, the tower was quiet again. Most of the staff was gone. The city outside was wet and bright. Juliana's driver usually picked her up from the basement garage. Where's your car service meeting you? I'd asked earlier that night. Basement, she said. Same spot as always. Change it, I said. She frowned. Why? Because habits are weak spots, I said. If he is watching you, he knows your patterns. Tonight we use a different elevator, a different door, a different time. She thought about arguing. Then she nodded once. Clean. Smart. We took a service elevator down. I checked the corners before we stepped out into the garage. I stood between her and the open space until the driver opened the door. Text me when you are inside, I said. Her hand paused on the door. Colby, she said. Yeah, quote. If you are doing all this because you think I am fragile, she said, eyes steady, do not. I am doing it because he thinks you are alone, I said. He is wrong. She left. The door closed. The car pulled away. The tower went fully quiet. I went back upstairs, took an air-gapped laptop, and pulled the original PDF files from the leak onto a separate drive. No network. No shortcuts. Just me, the documents, and time. The first crack was in the plainest place of all. Not in the text, in the details under the surface. The small line most people never look at. The part that tells you who really made the file. The first crack was in the simplest place. Not in the words on the page, but in the small hidden line under them. The part almost no one checks. The file details. I opened the first HR complaint, PDF, in a basic document inspector. No special tools, no hacking. Just a deeper look. The file claimed it had been created in 2023. The font pack inside it did not exist until 2025. I stared at the screen for a slow breath. You can lie about a date in the corner. You can fake a name in a header. But you cannot time travel a font. The timestamp was fake. The complaint was fake. The whole leak was a show. I took screenshots. I exported a small report. Then I checked the program used to make the files. It was not some random download. It was a licensed PDF editor owned by Anderson Media IT. An internal tool. Whoever forged the documents had used the company's own system against it. I kept going. The files carried an upload tag from the corporate VPN gateway. The log showed a session ID, a time, and a service account, not Tristan's personal login. That would be too obvious. Instead, it was a shared high-level account used by executive admin staff. exec_assist_Q. Someone had used that account at 3 in the morning to push the leak through Anderson's own pipeline and out to a public forum. I pulled an internal report on that service account. There was one user tied to that queue at that time, Tristan's executive assistant. The evidence was not perfect. It did not need to be. It only needed to be true. I printed everything. Metadata. Logs. Screenshots. All of it. Then I saw a folder I had missed before. It sat at the edge of the file tree, attached to the leak package, half deleted. I opened it. Inside was a single image file. Juliana, through a window, 2 years younger, no makeup, reading something by a lamp. Not a press shot, not a company photo. A private moment. Caught from outside, too far away for it to be innocent. My hands hovered over the keys. The hum of the building faded. The sound of the elevator cables in the city outside slid away. This stopped being about just numbers. I saved the photo to an external drive. Then I saved it again to a second drive. Then a third. Each time, I watched the confirmation box appear and vanish. Click. Save. Click. Save. Click. Save. Slow. Controlled. I labeled the drives with a marker. Copy A. Copy B. Copy C. I put each one in a different pocket of my bag. At 6 in the morning, Juliana was asleep on the couch in her office. My suit jacket from the gala was still around her shoulders, half twisted. She looked like she had tried to sleep sitting up and lost. I set the printed folder on the coffee table and waited. Her eyes opened fast. Executives do not ease into being awake. They hit it all at once. I got him, I said. She pushed herself upright, hair messy, eyes sharp. How? She asked. I handed her the metadata report. Her eyes moved down the page. They stopped on one line and widened. Author, she read quietly. th_office_admin, last modified 3:08 a.m. Careless, I said. He hired people who know how to scrub what you can see. They forgot the parts under the surface. Her hand tightened on the paper. I could see the tendons stand out. And the photo? She asked. I slid it across to her. Her throat moved once when she saw it. She did not look away. He has been doing this for years, she said. Yes, I said. And today it stops. The board meeting looked civilized. Long table, polished wood, water glasses, perfect lighting, 12 people in suits. It felt like a court that did not want to admit it was a court. Juliana sat at one end, shoulders squared, hair pulled back. Tristan sat at the other, calm and clean. This is tragic, Tristan was saying, voice full of fake concern. But for the good of the company, we must accept Juliana's resignation. I have not resigned, Juliana said. Her voice did not shake. Tristan sighed like a tired parent. The evidence is overwhelming, he said. I stepped forward from my place by the wall. Evidence can be checked, I said. Heads turned. A few board members frowned, annoyed the extra body in the room had spoken. Who allowed the consultant in here? Tristan demanded. Juliana did not answer. She did not look at him. She looked at me. That was enough. I set the folder on the table. Not a slam. Not a soft slide. Just a solid sound that made people look. The HR dump is forged, I said. The PDFs have an author listed in their hidden properties. They also show the program used and the time they were edited. None of it matches the story you have been told." "That is absurd," Tristan snapped. I opened the folder and pushed the first report toward the middle of the table. The board members leaned in. "These files claim they were created in 2023, I said. "The font pack inside them is from a 2025 software build. They were edited at 3:08 a.m. using an internal PDF tool licensed to Anderson Media IT. I tapped one line. "The author field is th_office_admin. The VPN log shows the leak went out through a service account used by executive admin staff. At that time, only one person was using that account, Tristan White's executive assistant." A low curse came from somebody halfway down the table. A chair creaked. Tristan tried to laugh, but it broke halfway out. "This is a smear," he said. "Anyone could fake those logs." I did not look at him. I pulled out the printed image and set it down last. "And alongside the leak files," I said, "someone stored unauthorized photos of the CEO taken from outside her home and outside this building over 2 years. They were kept with the forged documents. Same account, same pipeline." There was a slow intake of breath around the table. Disgust moved through the room like smoke. Juliana stood. She did not raise her voice. "You are fired," she said to Tristan. "Effective immediately. Legal and security will handle the rest." Tristan's mouth opened. Juliana raised one hand. "Do not speak," she said. "Every word you say right now makes this worse for you." Security stepped into the room and came up behind him. Tristan's eyes moved from face to face around the table, looking for support. No one looked back. The meeting did not end with shouting. It ended with paper and proof, and the quiet sound of a chair rolling back as he was asked to stand. By the time the doors shut behind Tristan and the guards, the boardroom air felt different. Lighter. Not safe. Not yet. But clearer. The facts were on the table now. Juliana's hands rested flat against the wood. No tremor. No shaking. She looked at the board. She did not ask them for anything. They were the ones who now had to answer. By evening, the building was calm again. The news had not broken outside yet, but inside, everyone moved like something big had shifted. I packed my bag at my desk and set my badge on the surface. The plastic felt small now. "Done." Juliana appeared in the doorway. "Where are you going?" she asked. "Home," I said. "Contract is over." "So you just leave," she said. Not angry, curious. "That is what I do," I said. "I fix the mess and then exit." She watched me close my bag. "That is it?" she asked. "You walk out and that is the end?" "That is the job," I said. "Come in, find the leak, patch it, leave before people start pretending I belong here." She stepped into the office and let the door close behind her. "And what if I do not want you to leave?" she asked. I looked up. "Juliana," I said, "I cannot work for you anymore." "Why not?" Her voice was calm, but there was something under it now, less steel, more fire. "Because I am not neutral," I said. "I cannot sit in a boardroom and pretend I see you as just another client. That kind of place needs distance." I lost mine. She came closer. The room felt smaller. "I do not want you as an employee," she said. "I have plenty of those." Her hand lifted to my tie. She did not pull me. She just held the fabric between her fingers, soft but sure. Her eyes dropped to my mouth, then rose back to my eyes. "Tell me to stop," I said, my voice low. "Do not," she whispered. The kiss was not soft or slow. It was steady and clear, like a choice made after a long wait. Weeks of pressure and all the held-back things between us came into that first contact. Her hands slid up into my hair. My hands settled at her waist, strong enough to hold, loose enough to let her move if she wanted out. She did not pull away. She leaned in. When we broke apart, her forehead rested against mine. Her breath was warm on my skin. "Resign," she said quietly. "I already did," I answered. "Badge is on the desk." She smiled then, not the CEO smile, not the press smile, something smaller and more dangerous. "Good," she said. 2 days later, the lobby of Anderson Media was full of cameras. Reporters lined up behind ropes. Lights flashed. The company logo gleamed on the wall like a shield. Juliana stood behind the curtain with a mic pack on her blazer. Her shoulders were straight. Her face was calm. The world outside that heavy fabric was ready to eat her alive. I stood beside her in a dark suit. No badge now. No title. Just me. She reached up and adjusted my tie knot, fingers careful and exact, the same way I had adjusted my jacket around her at the gala. Her fingertips smoothed my lapel. That small touch hit harder than any kiss. It meant I see you, I trust you, I choose you. Ready? She asked. Always, I said. A staffer pulled the curtain back. We stepped out into the light. Juliana went to the podium. Cameras clicked like static. The room buzzed with low voices. She waited for the noise to drop, then spoke into the mic. "The internal investigation is complete," she said. "We have found the source of the forged documents. We have removed the people responsible. Anderson Media is stronger, not weaker, because we faced this." Questions shot up at once. "Miss Anderson, will there be criminal charges?" "Miss Anderson, did you ignore complaints?" "Miss Anderson, is it true you used outside help?" She held up one hand. The room quieted again. "I did not ignore complaints," she said. "I was targeted. Our systems were used against us. But facts still matter. Paper still tells the truth if you know where to look." A reporter near the front raised his voice over the others. "Is it true you brought in a specialist?" he called. "Will he be staying with the company?" Juliana turned her head toward me, then back to the cameras. Her smile shifted for a second. Less hard, more human. "No," she said. "Mr. Sanchez has finished his work and resigned his consultancy." There was a ripple of sound. Pens moved. Screens lit up. "However," she went on, "he will be at the shareholders' gala with me on Saturday." Heads lifted. The room leaned in. "Not as an employee," she said. "As my partner." She held out her hand toward me, palm open, fingers steady. I walked up beside her and took it. Her hand was warm and sure in mine. She did not grip like she was hanging on. She held like she had made a decision. The cameras exploded with flashes. I leaned in, just enough that the mics would not catch the words. "Yes, ma'am," I murmured. Her fingers squeezed mine once. Firm, confident. We turned to face the press together. The crisis was over. The numbers were clean. The company would move on. But this was not about that anymore. Later that night, after the crowd and the questions and the long walk back through the quiet hallways, we ended up in her office again. The city glowed in the windows. The suit jacket she had borrowed still hung on the back of her chair. She stood by the glass, arms crossed. "You know," she said, "I built my whole life on control. I thought if I worked hard enough, learned enough, planned enough, I could stop bad things before they happened." I walked over and stood beside her. "How did that work out?" I asked. She let out a breath that was almost a laugh. "It worked," she said, "until it did not. Until someone used all my systems and rules against me." I watched our reflection in the window, her profile, my shoulder just behind hers. "We spend so much time trying to control everything," I said. "Our careers, our image, our safety. But real trust is not control. It is standing next to someone when they let go of the wheel for a second." She turned and looked up at me. "Is that what this is?" she asked. "Trust?" "Yes," I said, "and choice. You are not perfect. Neither am I. Healthy love does not ask for perfect. It just asks you to show up and stay when it counts." Her eyes softened. She stepped closer, resting her head lightly against my chest. My hand came up to her back.